Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the podcast where we are going to dive into what is a dieta with the Blue Lotus, how our journeys were, and what our takeaways are. Many of you know that we have been, both of us, we shared just a tiny bit of our experience over the last cycle. And we just feel like going a little bit deeper with you onto what it all looks like, as there were so many questions on both ends of what is it and how was it, and so just coming into the hot topic. And I feel like maybe passing it on to you, and would you like to explain a little bit more of what is a dieta?
Yeah, it's very fresh for us as we've just recently moved through it. So it's a topic that we just want to speak from this very raw place because it's still very alive. But the essence of a dieta is to really purify the channel, to merge with the consciousness of the plant that we're working with. And so in order to do that, there is a discipline, rules as such to follow, where you start to remove certain food items, so no sugar, no gluten, no bread, no citrus, no working with any other master plants. So it's a real stripping back that kind of brings you into a deeper devotion, because even in that sense of discipline, you are like reclaiming this part of having to devote to the plant and clear and purify yourself at the same time. So we just wanted to share our journeys, because it's actually been extremely profound in merging and working with the plant in this way, differing to just sitting and drinking Blue Lotus or any other plant in a day-to-day, because there is this energetic portal that you're creating and the container. So we went in for about 4 weeks within this container. So we had a very strong sense of, it's this amount of days, this is what it's going to look like, and how those days structured, and then also allowing the flow of Blue Lotus to guide that flow and structure as well, right? So would you like to share your journey?
Yes, and as you say this, on how actually she takes the lead in some way, I would start with the beginning of the journey. Like, often I've had people asking me, what was your intention? And it is very clear to me. So maybe even going into actually what happened. We were sitting in ceremony. It was a new moon, and we were sitting with the Blue Lotus, just each one of us writing and downloading, doing our thing. And she just came so strict, like so directly, saying, you're gonna do this for this many days, starting on this day. And there was much more. She just gave me like the whole script of what it looked like. So in a way, if you haven't, please watch our episode on sovereignty, because I really feel like this was a two-sided, where she is offering me something, and I get to choose to fully listen. And that's what happened on my end.
Beautiful, for bringing in the intention of why you would want to go into even doing a dieta. And I feel like Blue Lotus is calling many women at this time, actually, because she touches on an aspect of bringing us home. And this actually comes from a place of her own journey of Blue Lotus not necessarily being so native to her homeland, which was originally Egypt, but due to the dams that were being put in place in the Nile, she started to become very extinct there. So actually one of her core teachings is bringing us home, but also in that process getting to bring her home as well. So my intention for the dieta, which kind of came to me a bit before when you had decided to do it with me, was because there was this part within me that knew I was avoiding something. I was like, I just knew that parts of me were running, and there's something I just didn't want to face, and I could feel it and I could tell, and I didn't know what it was. And then she came in and was like, no, we need to go on a deep dive here, right? Because it's like you got on a deep dive and then you've got nowhere to run or nowhere to go because you're going home, you know. Like that was the teaching. And she was like, right, we're going deep devotionally into this during the darker months. We're already going into the shadows, and my intention was to meet these parts that I was avoiding, and bring really that shadow aspect to light, which is a lot of what Blue Lotus medicine is all about.
You know, I just had a realization of something I hadn't yet fully brought to light. So I'm a mama, and often I have this place inside of me that feels like I would love to fully devote my life to temple life, you know, not do life anymore and just be in the mountains, in the cave, devoting myself daily. And there are times in my life where I felt that sense of like, oh, why can't I? Like, this is such a calling. Why not? Why is it not available to me? And this place of resistance with life, with what life is actually bringing for me, which is to be a mother right now. And beautifully, Blue Lotus has gifted me that without me even expecting it, because the devotion I was able to dive into every single day, and by actually, even though I am all about the pleasure, to put the pleasures on the side, to pleasure myself in communion with her in that sense, from the heart, from all of this ethereal and bodily experience, has brought deeply that sense of complete devotion, while having to keep on being a mother and washing dishes and doing life. And I've seen many people stopping in some way their life to really do a dieta, and I feel like it's a beautiful thing to do. And in a way we put like some of the social on the side, and life does stop in some way, I feel, during a dieta, but there is a sense of life keeps on happening, and you don't need to stop your life. So already one of the core teachings I took from it, you don't have to stop your life to fully live a life of devotion.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And how can devotional living be weaved into every moment of every day? Like what you do. I think what she was bringing to me was really wanting to wake up before the sunrise so that I could sit with her and be in the darkness and witness the light coming up. That for me was very special to move through for all of those weeks, and it was like a moment that I was looking forward to every morning. But that was also creating a sense of discipline, because I was devoted to getting up and being with her in that particular time, and then also showing myself that I can show up for myself, let alone if I'm showing up for her, I'm showing up for myself, because we're in this communion together. And I think we should just speak into also the challenges that this brought, because like that's what I went into it for, to see the avoidance. And so the first week felt really challenging. Like my emotions were heightened. It's like everything that I could usually somewhat contain was like super loud, super clear. Like the harsh voices were like screaming, and I was like, oh my god, is that how I speak to myself? Like all of this shadow was just so clear. And that also comes with the stripping back of sugar and the comfort foods that we eat to fill those voids. So without all of that, working with a plant as Blue Lotus, which is heightening our sensitivity, not just towards ourselves, but to everything in our environment, it was like I could feel the people that I wanted in my field and who was like a no. Like it was very clear. It was like a yes, no. And the same with the foods that I was eating. There was so much more intuitive eating, because now I had kind of a restriction of what I could eat. I was very much, I really wanted lots of squash and like sweet potatoes and these really lower base chakra foods, right? Lots of sacral and root foods. Yeah.
I feel like actually bringing, because there's so much beauty in the diversity of even what these journeys can look like. Because for me, the first week was so graceful. Seriously. It was so graceful. I was having the wildest dreams indeed, but other than the dreams, she was like very dark dreams, which I think it was approaching. but for me was just so much grace. She was so clearly speaking to me through each cup. She was really bringing direction, intention, so clearly, and I felt so aligned, like this is really it. So yeah,
That's
also
so
the
beautiful.
beauty of it. And yeah, it was very challenging for me regarding food. I went into it thinking that sugar would be the hardest. And I also feel like, you know, she works through us in a way that she gives us nourishment also. So that kind of like, it was challenging more for me, the salt. And it is a striping of pleasure. Because for me, I'm a Taurus, I love pleasure. So, you know, the moment of food is really indulgent for me, which I bring consciousness into. But in this moment to actually, you know, it's even when I'm sitting with my food, which is not a pleasurable moment anymore. Instead, it's a moment of full connection to her and knowing this is a devotional act that I'm doing here. I'm choosing to strip this pleasure away because I'm with you right now. So it really felt really beautiful.
Yeah. It's the taking away of any form of distraction, so you have to sit with all that's there, and yet knowing that she's holding you in all of that was what was really comforting throughout most of the journey.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the dreams. I feel like I can't recall a lot of the dreams, but there was just, I know what you mean. After the first week, there was more clarity for me in seeing myself and seeing my limitations and seeing where there was parts of the self dismissal that was coming up for me, and certain fears around rejection. I was seeing that also very clearly, and how that actually limits me and my opening of connection or opening of heart, or in connection to intimacy as well, because within the dieta there was a full restriction of any sexual interaction and self-pleasure as well. But the medicine that came out of it was like, again, go and watch our episode on sovereignty, because the medicine that comes out of it was the really meeting of the shadows and alchemizing them with her, through her, and the soften, like there was almost a softening to it, like I can relate to the grace, like a grace, but she's also a nervous system regulator. So another thing I was experiencing throughout most of the dieta was just like super,
You're just like
super calm. Like it was just nothing. There was no strong surge of reaction. Everything was kind of being witnessed from a neutral place, and like not the first week. Definitely not the first week. My body was still processing all of the removal of, sugars and caffeine, especially because caffeine is a big one. And then suddenly kind of just being in this, I wouldn't say, kind of floaty space.
Definitely.
Yeah, like this floaty space of, and also just like wanting to try to going about my normal day to day. And she was always sharing, no, like come back to rest, or make time for you. Actually, that was it. She showed me, like, are you making time for you?
Yeah, I would love to touch on a sense of polarity that was really alive for me. And as I look back, I feel like it's a big part of this journey. Devotion for me has a very feminine touch. And when we bring the sense of discipline to the devotion, then we have the masculine. And I feel like for me, there was a lot of, moments where there is this friend of mine who's it's his birthday, and I come and I know, like, I didn't really have the space, because she brings such openness to every cell that there's a lot of sensitivity, so I couldn't really be in crowded spaces. So I just come to say hello and give a kiss and a hug to this friend of mine whose birthday it is, and then there's this amazing cake, like looking the best ever. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm not going to have a piece of this cake. And there's the discipline, you know, the moment that during the process, you're like, I'm so tired. I don't feel like waking up early or going to bed later because I'm going to sit at my altar with her, or you really want that piece of cake, or you're out and it's just easier to go somewhere and eat, but it's going to have salt, so no way. And all of this, and every time we go through one of those thresholds, it's like, I can trust myself.
Yeah.
So this is us already clearing a big part of our relationship to the masculine by saying, I can trust my masculine because he's here with me. And then from there, you're open even more into the path of the devotion, which is then this feminine essence of the devotion, the openness. And with that, I would just also touch, because I was speaking into this place of really devoting, and I feel like so many of us are looking for that in divine union, in really wanting a partner that shares this sense of devotion. And a little bit sided from the topic, but I really feel like this has been, there is no divine union with a partner before you have been in union with yourself, in divine union with yourself and God. And so I really feel like this is a path for anyone that is looking for divine union outside. You know, it might be with a dieta or anything else, but to really fully devote yourself to a path of with yourself, your love, God, whatever you feel like it resonates, but to fully dive into that devotion yourself.
I love that. Yeah. The inner marriage. And just to touch on the self-trust, I love how you brought that in, because it's so true. What it really teaches you whenever you do things like this, whether it's fasting, whether it's, you know, any dieta, it's like the amount of willpower, and you actually start to understand and believe and trust in the power of your mind. It's really the power of your mind. When you say no, you're telling your whole being, you're saying no, it's no. And you're trusting your no, you're trusting your yes, you're trusting this, like, actually I'm going to feel whether this feels good. And you are always asking, because in the mind you're working to a sense of discipline. So then it creates a, do I want this right now? No, I don't want this right now. No, I'm committing to this. So the willpower was so, that's why the reason why I love to do these types of journeys, because it reminds me each time, like, wow, whatever I put my mind to, I can do. So how can I then apply that to things in my life, projects in my life, anything really? Just like, it's like an invincible type of feeling of, I got this. I got myself. I can hold myself.
When you were speaking out, what I was hearing is like every no you give to something outside in this journey, it's a yes to yourself.
Oh, right? Yeah.
So should we go into what are the takeaways for us? Yeah,
I feel like I shared a few of them in the list, but
no doubts. So I think for me, as I look back, as like I close this chapter, which in a way it's a closing, but it's a continuation. She stays with us, and the way she stays for me has really been that my lifestyle has changed. My lifestyle has changed from the way I eat, my choices, where do I go, and how as we were speaking, like it's so much clearer for me now, my yeses and my nos, in taking care of myself, in, you know, the exercise I do as a love letter to my body rather than a fixing, or the food I eat because I want to keep my channel open, my vessel clear, as a devotion to this path. Because yes, I devoted so strongly to her, but my life is a path of devotion, you know, and that's my choice. It's very clear. She showed me this so much deeper, and it's on an ongoing path. So it's something that I want to cultivate. And we started the day by going to this beautiful pastry place and enjoying ourselves. So it's not about being strict and never having pleasure again, but it's really about my choices, and definitely that has changed. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. To close from my part, the key takeaway was just accessing more of my truth and owning it more, claiming my truth, being able to speak about it without fear, without other people fearing or being misunderstood, and actually just going, yeah, but this is really my experience of this life, and you know what, this is my medicine that I'm here to share, regardless of how it's going to be received or not. There was that came in very strongly. Like, I feel like I had a whole new voice come through, especially after, because I purged quite a bit afterwards. And then the other true teaching, because this was very alive for me during the Dieta, was to devote to my humanness just as much as I'm devoting to my divinity, because there is this aspect of constantly wanting to see from the higher aspects, and within that, what I realized the pattern was that was also a part of a self-dismissal of the little parts or the human parts of me that also just wanted that love, that tenderness, because so there was a rooting more, like actually she rooted me more here and said, yes, you are infinitely connected to the cosmos and the multidimensional nature that you know that you are, and you're here and expressing that, but you are here and of the earth too. So that was a really beautiful, like, coming home.
I love that.
To walk in these worlds, or dance, as we say. Sing.
So feminine, of course, we dance.
So yeah,
I think that's a wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So if you have any other questions based on what we've shared in our individual journeys, or just in general around the understanding of what you do in the Dieta, please drop it into the comments or reach out to us individually, and we would love to share, as we're soon also going to be guiding these beautiful journeys ourselves. So we would love to support, because what's so readily available to us all of the time is we're so blessed in the abundance of this earth to have these incredible plant allies. So let's really reciprocally bring in the exchange of teachings for each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much.